All right, everybody, thank you for coming out for our last live stream before the election. My name is Derek Stallwood. I am the Deptford Republican Club chairman. Tonight we have a special lineup. We got all four of our Republican candidates that are going to be here talking with us. We got Martin Mcdonough, Robin Vance, Dave Aber,
Nolan.
Richard Nolan. We're just going to sit down. We're going to have a discussion, we got a couple of questions we're going to ask them. We're going to have a discussion about the policy points that we have coming up. I want to thank all the volunteers that have been helping out this campaign. It's been absolutely amazing, the support that we've gotten from the volunteers. And I want to thank everybody that's out there supporting us, putting yard signs out, giving us great messages, encouraging messages. It really makes us feel like what we're doing out here is making a difference, and I really think it is. So the election this year is a little different. We have early voting this year, as well as the actual election day. Early voting starts this Saturday, and it's going to be held at the Rowan College of South Jersey on 1400 Tanya Road, right down the street from where we're here. And then obviously we have the regular voting day, which is Tuesday, November 2nd, and that's going to be at your standard polling place. So make sure you guys get out and vote. No matter who it's for, make sure your voice is heard and you get out there. So I'm going to start off. We're going to go through all the candidates, give a little intro, and we'll get into it. Martin, if you want to start, a little intro about yourself.
Mark Mcdonough, Deptford resident for 5 years. I'm not long term, 6 years. Work in Philadelphia, work local for a hotel company. Got involved because I think it's the right thing to do, and really would like to see us make a difference in, the citizens in Deptford having a voice.
I'm Robin Vance, 49 years old. I grew up in Deptford. I've been here all my life, as has my husband, been born and raised in Deptford. We have 4 children between us. My 2 children went to school through the Deptford School District and have since graduated. And I got involved because I wanted to be a source of change. I wanted to see change in our town, and I thought in order for that to happen, I have to be part of that change. I have to be active. I can't just be a keyboard warrior, on Facebook making comments. So here I am.
Hello, my name is David Aber. I'm a third-generation resident of Deptford. I'm a proud member of the Laborers Union, Local 172. And I got involved because I wanted to see a change myself, actually. So I'm here. I'm ready to do that.
My name is Rich Nolan. I think I got involved for the same reason that the other candidates got involved. We were tired of seeing the same thing every year. Just no Republicans, same Democrats running, and I think it's not fair. There's a large portion of the town that didn't have a voice, and I'm really proud of what we've done. Win or lose this next election, we've given that many thousand people a voice, and we've given them somebody to vote for. And that's the real reason why I'm running and I got involved, was to make sure that the Republicans in town have somebody to vote for, and even just the people of town have somebody to vote for. It's not just one choice. And having an ultimatum, having only one choice is never a good thing. I guess a little bit about myself. I was born in Deptford. I lived in Deptford with my parents until we moved to Pittman. I think we moved when I was about 4 or 5. My grandparents have always had a house in Deptford. It's always been a great place for me to go to. I've always went there and played, ride quads, had a great time. I ended up buying that house off my grandparents. That's where my family calls home now. I love it. I love the property we have. We got a lot of space for fun, yet we're still close to the mall, close to the highways. The location couldn't be better. All
right, so you guys kind of filled in my first question, which was the first question. It was.
What's your name again?
I was kidding. But the first question that I had for you guys was, what got you involved in politics? And I think you guys kind of covered that just there in the intros, which is exactly what I think is organic. I love it. You want to get involved because you want a hand in it and to give people a choice. So perfect. I love it.
Well, I'd like to add, though, that also one of the reasons why I came to the first meeting here with the Deptford Republican Club is because my son had a lot of questions about how politics works. So I gave him a first-hand, front-row view on how it works. So it was a civics lesson that morphed into, me getting really involved and running for town council.
A civics lesson for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So going around campaigning for these council seats, we've been all across Deptford, handing out literature, getting these signs out. So the next question that I got is, what's the number one issue you've heard going around Deptford right now? Want to start, Martin?
Let's go. Let's take Mark the other way. Rich.
All right, we'll go.
Okay. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of residents. Everybody's excited that we're running, that I've mostly that I've talked to. A lot of the problems I've heard is people just aren't sure what's going on. And I know our council has gotten a transparency, or what was it? What was the award? Transparency award or something like that.
Oh,
Award
they
for
got
the
a-
information they're putting out.
Yeah, they got some sort of information award. I actually tried to follow up on that.
Yeah, I would like to figure out how to better get these information out to the people, and I think it comes with building more of a sense of community. You know, getting the volunteer organizations more involved with the town, and really looking into that. I mean, I don't know if it's more social media. I know that our township has a social media page that they post a little bit, but they're not really active in the town groups. They kind of leave it up to the citizens to share the town posts. So I think maybe a social media director that was more involved on Facebook will go a long way. And maybe, there's other forms of social media. And just like getting people to the council meetings will go a long way. A lot of people don't know what's going on. They'll go to the council meetings, they won't feel welcome there. And I think that's a big issue that we would like to change. It's just making people feel welcome at the council meetings, listening to what the community has to say, and being polite, taking it into consideration, and really working for the community.
So that was like your number four issues.
Sorry. I just went for a roll.
Once you get started, I get it. Dave,
That's
number
all
one
right.
issue that you've heard from
Issue
residents
I've
or your own
seen
issue.
from residents is the community outreach. In this day and age of social media, there's no reason why nobody shouldn't know when our council meetings are, as well as what we're actually going to be voting on as council members. So that's what I would like to see change is the use of social media to get the word out and to let everybody know what the ordinances are in detail before they're actually voted on, so residents have a chance to come out and actually voice their opinion. So that's my biggest issue.
My biggest issue being within Deptford is the fact that I've had it expressed to me by a lot of people, whether they've reached out to me personally, on the street, or whether it's been through a Facebook message, how when they have issues or problems in town and they go to council and ask for assistance, unfortunately they seem to be shut down or looked over or put off. And unfortunately, it seems that it's done in a manner that is not very respectful. It's kind of done in a condescending tone. That is something I would like to see changed within our town. I think everyone in this town, regardless of their working class, middle class, lower class, whatever class you are, you deserve respect. And I think that is something that definitely needs to change from council.
Okay.
Mark?
I guess for me, I've been saying this the whole time, is that I think it's time that we give a voice back to Deptford. And one of my analogies is I went to the first council meeting I went to when I came to town. There was no one there. There might have been 3 people in the audience, maybe at best. And it was not about hearing what residents wanted, what individuals wanted, what was important to them. And I'm sitting there thinking, I moved to a small town because I loved the small town feel and the small town interaction, and there was none. And as we went out and started talking to people on the campaign trail and going door to door, I had people look at me initially with a little bit of distrust, like, who are you and what are you doing at my door? And that has slowly evolved into more of a warm openness. I found that last weekend when we were out, that people were saying, oh, I've heard about you guys. I'm glad that you're in my neighborhood. I'm glad you came out to talk to me.
Yeah.
That's that small town feel that we're looking for. And in my mind, town council meetings, I can't believe nobody has anything to say. I believe a lot of people have something to say and have chosen not to. So assuming that we get the support of the voters in Deptford, to me, I'd like to see town council meetings packed. I mean, to the gills packed and running later in the evening so people get heard.
And
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Rich.
Good.
Just as a side note to what Martin is sharing over here is during COVID, of course, we had the accessibility of Zoom and people could attend that way. The last few town council meetings that we went to, Zoom had been eliminated. And I personally, and I think we've all been in agreement with this, feel that there should be some type of live streaming of the meetings so that people that perhaps are handicapped or elderly and can't get out to the meetings but would like to be part of what's going on in town and know where things stand, and it goes back to our transparency issue, be able to be a part of that. If we could live stream it or still Zoom it, at least they feel that they're being educated and informed.
Yeah,
That is
and
a
have
terrific point. Yes.
And have the meetings on the website. We have all the agendas.
Yeah.
In this day and age, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a recorded meeting on the website. You can watch the entire meeting anytime you want. You can watch it midnight.
we'll
You can
definitely-
watch it months later. So I would definitely like to do that. And I love the issues that we've heard from our from the people of Deptford and that we've seen are pretty much the same. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we didn't go over this beforehand, and we all have seems like we have the same issues,
Yeah.
which is good because that means we're on the same page.
I
yeah.
prepped them as best I could. I swear.
It's what makes us a team because we all think alike.
Right. So we're definitely gonna get a little more into the transparency thing. I think we have actual legitimate ideas that you guys have to make that a possibility, and you've already mentioned a few of them. So, but just one last question that I have just prepared. What is one thing that you've learned about Deptford in this past 8 months to a year? We're gonna start with Martin. Let's go.
Wow. I think on a positive note is that
Keep it positive,
is there is a very serious willingness for people to speak up if the appropriate forum is provided, if the tools are provided. There is almost like I have dogs. It's almost like people feel like they've been muzzled, and the muzzles are coming off, and people want to talk, and they want to be heard, and it's in a positive vein on what could make the township of Deptford a better place to be, and even better than what it is now. So to me, it's about knowing the people out there that they have a voice, that haven't learned how to use it, and we should be helping them use that voice.
One thing you learned about Deptford.
One of the things I learned about Deptford especially during our campaigning, is that a lot of people want change. And the second thing that I learned about Deptford is how many people are fearful for their jobs in this town. And that goes from whether they're municipal workers, to the police department, to,
Contractors.
Yes. And that's sad to me. To me, it shouldn't matter what party you are. It should be based on your merits, your ability to do a job. You shouldn't be judged by your political views or your attachment. And that doesn't just go towards jobs. That goes to also being members of various committees in town when you're asked to step down because you don't share the same political views as mayor and council does.
One thing I learned about Deptford is the people of Deptford are very resilient and very giving and caring when it comes to each other. The perfect example of this is when the storms hit earlier, about a month or so ago, and the outreach of people donating and supporting each other and going in and help each other clean up the mess that the tornadoes left. I mean, as a lot of you might know, I grew up in a military family, and I grew up all over this country, and so we settled back here in Deptford. And I tell you, I will take the people of this town over any of them anytime.
All right, what do you got, Rich?
The biggest thing I learned about Deptford, I knew it was a great town, great people. I'm from Blackwood Terrace, and we definitely have a community to go in there. But I didn't realize how big Deptford really was until
you walking
all of Deptford. And I made maps up for these walking districts. I made up a digital map so we could find where the Republicans were in town, and just drawing these map lines and figuring out I knew Oak Valley. I knew there was like the Westfield Grove area and the Woodbury Gardens and Hammond Heights, but I didn't realize the boundaries lines and how far they really go. Over on Wentz Ave, that's across from Woodbury Glassboro Road over there. That's Deptford. You got over all the way down in practically Westville, practically Woodbury. What I thought was Woodbury is actually Deptford, and I'm just really glad that we decided to go drop literature at every single door in Deptford, because you really get to know the neighborhoods, and you really get to know exactly where all the constituents live. And I think anybody that's not going around and doing that is just missing out. And I would be hard pressed. I mean, I know our council people have been in charge for a long time, so I'm sure they know. But I would say anybody we ever run as the Deptford Republican Club has to get out there and has to go to every door, so they know exactly who they're representing.
I think on your point, Rich, with us going door to door and being in the various neighborhoods, I think it also was an eye opener for us to see what neighborhoods needed more attention.
Yeah, that's another thing.
That's
there's a big difference between different neighborhoods, and it's not just age. There's definitely demographics, and I think
attentiveness that's being done to the properties.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the residents themselves. I mean the township properties.
Yes. The township properties. Yeah, there's definitely properties the township has let go, and just places where it'd probably be good to have a sidewalk here. There's children walking around everywhere. There's not a sidewalk, and Yeah, I know. In Jericho on Mail Ave, I would really like to see sidewalks put in there. And if we can't get it put on the residence side, at least where Jackie Love Park is and across ICU Park, there should be a sidewalk there. I know we had that ice cream social there, and we were asked to have the ice cream truck moved, and we ended up having to walk down the street to get ice cream, and there's no sidewalks on that street, and that
dangerous for kids.
it really is dangerous, and that's a very busy road there to not have a sidewalk, and there's not a lot of spots in Deptford that don't have sidewalks.
True.
Well, I want to kind of point to that because, so do you think it's just, is it more that the residents of that area may see that issue and they feel as though they can't come to the council to get those problems fixed, or is it just nobody is? Well, I guess it is. Nobody's speaking up, and even if they are they being heard?
I mean, maybe they don't want sidewalks. That's the thing, and that's what I would like to. When I talk about getting people to the council meetings, is like we're not going to put sidewalks in Jericho if nobody from Jericho comes and asks for sidewalks. You know, we're not just going to force sidewalks on them.
Yeah.
But if we get an outpour, like I think we probably will, it would be something I would like to see done. And there's stuff like that where like I would like to. I don't want to put a new memorial up. I don't want to put a new piece of playground equipment up. I don't want to do anything unless we have a room full of people asking for it. If not, we're not spending their money.
And to Rich's point, again, with sidewalks, I mean, we saw that by being out there and talking to residents. And the one thing that I think rang home to me with a woman who bought a house out there, had been there for 18 years, talking to her that day at the social. And she made the comment, she goes, I want you to know, this is the first time I've had it, in all the years I've lived here, this is the first time a candidate has come to my door and asked my opinion. You know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Part of what we should be doing and want to be doing, and what I hope we four bring to the table, is putting the term service back in public service.
Yes, sir.
Because at the end of the day, these are people who are going to elect us to hopefully have us represent them. And if we are doing our jobs, then the council meeting should be packed. We should be getting feedback. We can't solve every problem. Let's face reality here. But people need to start by knowing that they're going to have an ear on council when they come to a town council meeting, and they're going to get heard. And to me, that's half the battle.
You're gonna say something about it?
No.
You good?
Are you sure?
Don't be shy.
This is our first live stream with this many people, so I think it's a little
on,
difficult.
It'll
you know me well enough. If I have something to say, I don't hesitate to speak up, so we're good.
So, so what we'll do next is just go through kind of our major policy points. These are the things that we've built the campaign on and we've been talking to residents about. We've touched on quite a bit of it already here. But, I mean, the first thing that we have, if you've been around, we've been throwing out these pamphlets all over the place. We've been coming door to door. So you must have seen some of them already. No, I know. It's going to be... But...
They've seen it, though.
Number one issue, which is what we've been talking about, that we think needs to happen, is transparency. And it's not just in Deptford, it's all over, and I think that's one of the most fundamental things for government is transparency. So I think we'll just have a little bit of a discussion about a couple of ideas that you guys might have to make that happen.
Yeah, I think, I know I was going door to door, and I ended up, I've been hanging literature on the houses with the
real quick, I do
Democrats.
want to say, I have a newfound appreciation for mailmen after doing this. It's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Letter carriers.
Yeah,
So I remember I had a conversation with a fellow neighbor who happened to be a Democrat and had Democrat signs in front of his house. And I handed him more literature, and I started telling him kind of our plan, with the transparency. And he said, you can find out anything you want. And I said, yeah, that's true. If you ever request the right forms, you can find it out. And he was like, so what are you guys talking about? Yeah, there's laws, there's transparency laws in the books and everything. And I tried to explain to him that your average person isn't going to go and know which form to Oprah request.
True.
And I know we've had a hard time with Oprah requests because we're a little green at this, and we a little too vague on our Oprah requests, and we haven't got a lot of them filled. And I think that's the big thing is like you shouldn't have to go out and fill out Oprah requests to find out what's going on in your town government. We should be actively pushing this information out there, and that would be like something I would like to see done. That along with the taping of the council meetings and stuff like that is just like open transparency. It's not happening now.
As taxpayers, I think we have a right to know what's going on in this town. And it's been as simple as us as candidates, even in the beginning, when people weren't really aware of what our role was going to eventually be, to go to a town council meeting and ask questions and try to get answers is next to impossible. Now, I understand there's a process that sometimes has to occur, and they can't just give us a straight answer at that time, but it would be nice. They do take our name and our address when we first walk up and speak perhaps send us a letter with an answer, or ask for our email and respond to us that way, letting us know what the answer is possibly to our question
Oh, I like that.
during the the
Some
council
follow-up.
meeting. Yeah, some type of follow-up. I've actually seen it done at the school board meetings. You know, you go up, you have an issue, and they can't answer it right then and there, but they ask for your information to be given after the meeting, and they'll get back to you. And I'm not saying they always get back to you, but from what I understand from other parents besides myself, the school board does get back to you. So I think it's something that could be done at a council level for the town.
Yeah, and I would like to see this information mundanely available for anybody who wants it. I mean, everybody deserves to know where, why, and how your taxpayers' money are being spent. There should be no open request for this. I got to search hours on end on the internet for things, which I have done, and it's one of the reasons why I got involved is to bring this transparency to each person in Deptford about how things work.
I'm on the other side of that idea. Again, same concept about transparency, but look at the message that has been sent over the years. Okay, anybody here in our group not have children? How many times has your child touched the hot stove and gotten burned? It happens once. It happens twice, maybe, and that's about it. Because from that point on, that child's not going to touch that stove. So if people have looked for their public servants to provide them information or provide them something and they don't get it, and they don't get it again, and they don't get it a third time, they're going to stop asking. And that's where apathy comes in.
Yeah.
And I think we have created that. I say we, that the township collectively has created this because we've allowed it to happen.
So to that point, on Delsey Drive and Cooper Road, there's 2 digital town signs. Not once have I seen town council meeting this week.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
once.
Yeah, I think something as simple as that could get people out. But also, when we've done it where we've tried to figure out what's going on at the council meetings.
Right.
And unless it's an award ceremony or something like that, nobody knows what's going on. Where as simple as saying, these are the ordinances that we're going to go over at the council meeting and have them in layman's terms, easy to read and understand. Not what the ordinance is, because these ordinances, you know,
They're very vaguely.
they're very vaguely put, and there's all kinds. It's like you have to be a lawyer to understand them half the time.
And if you go and ask questions on them, you get shut down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, but and I'll give them, you know, a little bit of a pass because we're candidates running against them. But we've seen regular residents go there and get a hard time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I would just like to say, I feel like if we went out to the town and said, guys, we're voting on, we're going to do curbs in Jericho or sidewalks in Jericho as an
We're
example.
going to spend $1 million on
And
equipment.
Tell them exactly how much we're going to spend, where it's going to be spent, and what
Where's
kind
it
of
coming from?
yeah,
Spend it.
and then like a game plan, right?
Yeah.
And say we're going over this. Come to the meeting and voice your opinion. I feel like we would get a lot of people at the meetings,
Right.
and that's what we need. That's why I think it's worth a shot to give that a try. And if that doesn't work, we need to try something else because having meetings with 3 people at it is not good. It's not
Well,
good
and
at
that
all.
kind of goes to
What-
Martin's
what's-
point of being disappointed about seeing
Yeah.
low turnout.
What-
Well, and I think it comes down to the leadership, like Martin said.
I can tell you right now, you know, voters in Deptford, you elect us, you're probably not going to see this 120-degree, 180-degree swing in one meeting. It's going to take some time because people are going to have to learn how to trust. At the end of the day, it's about, there's 4 candidates sitting right here. You don't know us. We don't know you that well, but we're getting to know you. But at the end of the day, should you guys decide that we're your candidates, and you're going to have to trust that we're going to put our money where our mouth is, that we're going to live and bring to the table, as I've said before, you know, this is about bringing service back to public servant. If you want a position in a township, then take it because you believe you can make a difference, not because you just want status quo. I believe we can make a difference.
And we won, and Derek's going to hold us to it. The Deptford Republican
You're
Club,
right.
The Deptford Republican Club is going to hold us to it. That's where we started. We're not here. The Deptford Republican Club is here for Deptford first and the Republican Party second, and they're going to hold us to Deptford first.
So just kind of on the point of the transparency, when you walk into a council meeting, you go up to the front and they have the agenda for that meeting and lined out, and like you said, they'll have the ordinances that are there. And then they'll just vote on them, all of them.
Sometimes 10, 20 at a time.
And that blew me away because I
Yeah.
go through there, you read through it, and I mean I would go through the agendas beforehand, and then see a couple of things I want to ask questions on. They were ordering new equipment and stuff like that, and I asked, I said, is there going to be an itemized list of what you're spending this, however much money it was, on before you vote on this?
What's that way?
Oh, sorry. Before you guys vote on this, is this information going to be available, or are we just going to say, oh, Deptford Town Council spending $1 million? And I was said, oh yeah, the information will be available to you, and then they voted on it and just put it right through. It was wild.
It is wild, and I think that's the biggest thing. When you see transparency in our brochure, that's what it is. We just want to be open and out front with the taxpayers and the residents of the town.
And in all fairness, Mayor and Council, I do think there's a process that we have not been privy to experiencing yet, I hope we do,
Yes.
that goes into formulating those ordinances and resolutions.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't want to sit here and give the audience the opinion that Mayor and Council just show up with these things, vote on when they go through. I do think there's a process, just
Well, and a lot of
the
it is
general
every
public
year.
is not privy to it.
Well,
Yeah, a lot of it is the same things they're doing every year. The same ordinances they're passing and every year, like different funding and stuff. And I understand that, but the fact of the matter is, when you make changes, you need to make the public aware. They bought the community center without any public support.
Well,
I feel like I don't really remember hearing too much about that. Even in Westville Grove, they put that new flagpole in next to the Wawa there.
Yeah.
Nobody knew about that really until it was happening. It would be nice to see community support for these projects, not just the mayor and council deciding to do it.
The people of Deptford have taught me one thing in going out and talking to them. If you want to know something, ask them. Simply ask them. People will tell you, but you got to take the time to ask them. I'm telling you, as we
ask
all
the people at Deptford.
yes,
Okay.
as we got an education just about how big this township is by walking it, we're also getting an education that people just simply want to have an opinion. They have an opinion. Sir, ma'am, you have an opinion. What would you like to see changed? And I have to tell you, I know I'm speaking for the four of us here, we all have gotten an earful on things. And the best forum for that is going to be town council, find out if there's support for it, and move it forward. Again, public service.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times people have told me, Rich, when you get in, I'm going to be at that council meeting and I'm going to be your nightmare. Because I'm going to give you so much to do. And I'll tell you what, that's what we want. That's why you need fresh faces in. Because right now I have the energy for that and I'm looking forward to that. And I don't think I can say the same thing for the candidates running against us. I think they want to keep going with the status quo, keep things the way it is, keep them quiet, council meetings the way they are.
Half-hour council meetings and just punch everything through.
Yeah, it is strange how you get it. Yeah, not even
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes,
Yeah.
literally.
All right, well, let's go on. So I think one of the things that most people in Deptford don't know is that they don't vote for their mayor.
Yep.
And
But we have educated them on that a lot.
we have been letting everybody
have.
that'll
Going
listen.
into this, they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yes, we
Now
have.
they know.
Yeah.
So one of our points is, you guys get in, all four of you, we start the process of voting for our mayor.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Have you what have you heard from town about that? People in town.
Every-
What do you tell
everyone's
them?
I haven't
heard.
heard
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I haven't heard a single person not think it was a good idea, and it is going to come down to the town ultimately because we can put it on the ballot, but we can't make it pass on the ballot. So it'll be on the ballot at the next election, hopefully, and when they vote it to happen, it will happen. And I think it would be happening at that following election. So it's a kind of process that's going to take a long time, but it needs to be started, and it needs to be started by the easiest way to start is by the council.
Well-
There's a couple ways to do it, and that's in my opinion, the best.
You're spot on, because if we get the ball rolling, at the end of the day, it's up to the township and its citizens to decide, do you want it, do you not want it? We're not the ones to be making that decision. We're the ones to get discussion started. We're the one to get the ball rolling if there's a ball to be pushed downhill, hopefully it's a downhill run. But at the end of the day, it's a ballot referendum that the citizens of Deptford have to vote for. It's real simple. If you want change, you'll vote for change. If you want to see things better, then look at the candidates and pick and choose. But at the end of the day, we believe that an important position such as mayor should be something that people in town have a vote on and have part of the decision-making process.
Yeah, I mean, that's what democracy is, right?
It's supposed to be.
Well, and then back on the transparency of that, it is kind of convoluted, the rules on doing that. We've looked into it a bit. And as that process goes forward, that'll be available to Deptford residents. I mean, you get it out there, let everybody know. First off, you don't vote for your mayor. This is how it is. It's a council-appointed position. These are the options we have to changing it. And now we need to hear from everybody on how to do it.
Everyone I've spoken to is shocked that we don't, and totally supportive of the fact that we should vote for our mayor.
Yeah, and you can see it. You can see it dawn on them when they think back, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I elected Mayor Mcdonough as a council person,
yeah,
and
council
they're like,
person.
that's weird. And it's like, yeah, well, that's the way it is. And I explained to them about the Faulkner Act sometimes if they're willing to listen. Some people don't have a lot of time to talk, and of course we don't have much time to talk either. I'm a talker, so I find myself talking too much sometimes when I go do it.
I'll get caught up talking. I will. I'll go forever. But I said, that's one of the. I think a fair point. And what, like you guys said, same thing that I've heard. And I think if anybody talks about it in town, they're going to get the same deal. You know, vote for your mayor. It just
also-
makes sense.
It's also important to be able to choose your mayor because it works kind of like a check and balance. I mean, you could have a Democrat or Republican mayor in place and the opposite for the council, and it would force them to actually work together in your interest.
Right.
Or even an independent. Right now, if
Yeah.
an unaffiliated wants to be a mayor, he would literally have to make the entire council unaffiliated to become mayor.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Well,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
fair.
And as I said, and another thing that we've learned going through this campaign is that there are a lot of independents in Deptford. The majority
Yeah,
of voters are
majority,
independents
yeah.
in Deptford, which is great. So the next policy position we got is a full ordinance audit. I'm gonna skip the budget for now. An ordinance audit. So I know we've all kind of I've looked through some of the ordinances in town, trying to go through and find certain points. You know, what about putting up a shed in my yard? How do I go about doing that?
Yeah.
And what are the rules for it? And you go onto the website, it sends you to another website, and then you got to click through and you got to try to kind of find it.
Yeah.
So when we say ordinance audit, meaning
I mean, what I take from that, what I would like to see done is over the years, government, it seems like they've added more and more rules and regulations to every little facet of our lives, even down to putting up an inflatable swimming pool in your backyard.
yeah.
You know, and I don't know about the other candidates, but I would like to see a lot of that get rolled back. You know, give the people of town more freedom to do what they want and live their lives. And I know, you guys know, I would like to start with chickens. That's just me. I know a lot of people in Deptford have illegal chickens, and I know they did a pilot program. I don't think you should need a permit
Salt
to
chickens.
have chickens in your house. You know?
Never seen an illegal chicken.
Yeah, good for
And I don't think we should make criminals out of people for having,
Yeah.
you know, a source of eggs in their backyard.
To this point, again, the same thing is true in looking at ordinances. You know, blue laws that have long since been outdated. Look, I'm not telling you that we let any township become a free-for-all, because that's just wrong. I mean, there are a certain amount of rules that are going to be necessary and required. To me, it's about, does it make sense? What do the people want? What kind of voice do they bring to town council on things that they want to see changed or want to have made clearer? But again, going back to this thing is that if you're going to accept a council position, it goes back to service. What service are we providing? Are the ordinances clear? Are they easy to understand? Does it make sense? Is there anybody in a township building that's going to help somebody understand the gobbledygook that we call ordinances? They're written in legalese by attorneys, not by people that are going to try and follow. So if we're going to have ordinances, certainly all would agree that there's a place for it that keeps certain order in a lot of different things in a township. But at the end of the day, let's make it easy to understand. Let's look at the ones that need to be kept. Let's look at the ones that the citizens want gone, and let's see if we can help make that happen. Because at the end of the day, this is a community of citizens, not of council members.
Exactly.
No, I agree to some extent, though. I know myself when I looked up the ordinances, they are quite lengthy. There's a lot. Some of them are extremely outdated. Like, they don't even apply to the way our world is today. So as far as doing an audit, yeah, I think those are ones that could actually be eliminated. To Rich's point with the chickens, it's funny because Deptford started out when I was a little girl. We were pretty much a livestock town. You know, there was a lot of pigs in our town.
Famous for pig farms.
Yes, we are. You can still smell them to this day sometimes. But
On my way here.
yeah, but so to want to own a few chickens, I don't see where that's hard, especially if you have the property, and you do.
Well, yeah, I
maybe
mean-
not in my
Yeah,
neighborhood
we have
because
the
I
property
live
to
over
support
a
it,
development,
yes.
but you know, even then.
Well, I mean, even taking my situation, not really as an example, but just, you know, even in Blackwood Terrace is an old neighborhood. It's been there for a long time. And there's always been chickens around, and my chickens are gone, and I still hear a rooster every morning when I wake up. You know, like, it's just part of, like you said, part of the town, part of the community.
Yeah.
Even though Blackwood Terrace isn't farmland, it was just the way things are. And you know, if your homeowners association wants to make it so you can't have chickens, that's fine. But I don't believe it's the township's government job to tell you can't.
And Rich, when you have a homeowners association, when you're moving into that development, you
You
know
already
that
know that
exists,
that's what
and
you're
you already
signing
know
up
that
for.
that's a limitation, and that's what you're buying and
Exactly.
signing up.
But when you buy property,
Right.
you're not
Outside of it.
expecting to have all of these rules to jump through. Especially, like, I feel bad for the people on Fox Run Road, because that's like the rural part of town.
With the
And-
horses.
Yeah, on Fox Run Road with the horses, and you know, and they have to follow the same rules that the developments have.
Yeah.
And maybe if they're not pushed to those same rules, you have the law's the law, right? So we can't say, well, we're holding these people to this law, and like you're good right now, don't worry about it. That's not the way it should be, because when one of those people run for council, what's going to happen? They're going to suddenly have to follow the law, and that's what happened to me. So it shouldn't be at the discretion of the township what they're going to enforce and what they're not going to enforce. We need to make sure that the people of Deptford have the freedom and liberty to enjoy their life without worrying about an overbearing local government.
Yeah, I fully support the full audit of our ordinances, because, like Robin said, there are a lot of outdated and unneeded ordinances that we need to amend and get rid of. So,
Well, how many are just hidden? How many of these ordinances are just hidden in the books?
yeah.
And
Depends on what word you search for.
right. Well, I'm saying,
It's unbelievable. Going through like Code 360, there's just like so much.
it's nuts. And kind of goes down to the point of transparency, is compiling that information for people to easily be able to access. Because, like you said, if you go on, was it the 360? That's the page that you go to after the township.
You go through
It's a mess. You search something, you're like, political yard signs.
It is nice of them to have that there, though. They could hand you.
I will say, I will
That's
say.
true. I agree. That is good.
I do like the Eco 360,
Yeah.
but
It
we
needs
really,
simplifying.
when you look at it, you really just see how much is really in there.
Yeah. Right, and then what could be hidden in there? You can't have your grass overgrowing the curb 3 inches, and then for some reason you get hassled by some silly thing.
Again, the problem with ordinances is the same problem with law and the same problem when you get people involved.
Yep.
If you have the law, apply it equitably and consistently, or change it. So either it applies to everyone or it applies to no one.
Sure.
Again, we've all been in townships and cities where there are blue laws on the book. Pardon my French, but there's still a blue law on the book in a town in Texas that says, as a defense to a murder, that some bitch needed killing. That's a blue law that still exists in Texas today. Nobody's going to do something like that. That's insanity. But these are the things that have to be cleaned up. Does it make sense? Is this what our citizenry want? Is this what they're looking for out of Deptford? But again, you keep burning your hand, you're not going to go back and touch the stove.
Yeah.
So let's stop burning the hand, turn the stove off, and find out what people really think.
Man, love it. Great. Good line.
What do we got next?
So we do have a full budget audit is one of our things. Now, I'm going to caveat that Deptford does, as a matter of law, produce an audit of the budget. So when we're saying a budget audit, I think that more goes to breaking down the budget into layman's terms so that people can go on, read it, understand it, and see where their money's going, right?
Yeah.
So, and it all kind of just falls back into the transparency thing. Get the information out there for everybody.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to before. I don't know if it would be possible or not, but I know a lot of people use online banking, where you can actually go on your phone and see the transactions. See when you deposited money, see what you're spending your money on. I would almost like to see a version of that online for our township. Like, all right, this month we bought these trucks. We had this amount of payroll. No personal information on there
Right.
per se, unless it's something we feel if the people want it.
Just the math.
But just like the map, like what exactly
Right, you have to
how
respect
much the
privacy.
snowstorm cost. How much we spent, at the Deptford Midget football field this year. You know what I mean? Stuff like that would be great, and it would really show you where your tax dollars are going. And I think it would make people more proud of spending tax dollars.
Wait.
They
I don't
see.
know about that.
More
saying.
proud knowing that they have an eye on where they are.
Okay, I'll go
How's
with
that?
that.
Well, again,
Being able to be educated to see where their
it
money's
comes
going.
back. It comes back to the undercurrent of this forum and our candidacy. If you put it out there and the citizenry want a online banking system that shows them what's being spent in Deptford, and there's a cost associated with doing that, then let them tell us. If 2 people show up and say, hey, Rich's idea was solid, well, table it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? But if 10,000 people show up or 5,000 people show up,
Jeez.
yeah, no doubt.
Or like 50 people would be great.
If 500 people are behind something like that, then it would behoove us as, again, servants to look into what would this cost? What is the cost benefit? What does it bring to the citizens of Deptford? And does it give them an easy, point and click way to look and know and understand how their dollars are being spent? Because at the end of the day, it's their dollars. It's the citizens' dollars.
And if not that, what they were talking about is just that I think that at every council meeting there should be some kind of update about where we are in our budget spending, how much we have left, what we spent this month on paper, ink toner, maybe not so much that detail, but obviously fuel for the cars, equipment that we bought, how much this new project is going to be costing, and how we're going to pay for it in the future, because a lot of those things they're kicked down the road, and they're used, they're on loan pretty much. You get a loan for that, and they pay for it that way, and we pay off that loan.
Well, when was the last time, and again, it goes to the transparency and making this information available. When was the last time you saw one of those electric signs, Deptford budget audit's out?
Yeah.
Make sure you go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, look at over here on 55, going into what is hopefully not going to be Malfunction Junction much longer when they get that finished. Okay,
Wow.
the state has put up a sign that says this is going to cost $100 and some odd million. It's a sign right there. It's not fully detailed, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get that on a sign on the side of the road.
Yeah.
But it's about letting people know in New Jersey, because it's a state project, where's the money going? Obviously, a lot of it is on hold right now because of a pseudo disaster. But at the end of the day, that's got to get finished. It's about knowing where the money is spent. I find it hard to believe that in Deptford that every project ever undertaken has been on budget, on time. Okay? I'm sure there's been overruns. I'm sure there's been cost savings. These are the kind of things people need to know.
And no accountability.
Okay? I'd like to know, for example, the new park, or I guess it's a memorial that has a flag in it. Has anybody ever known what that really cost? Was it under budget? Was it
Yeah.
over budget?
We need to be able to identify these things also, because we need to find out where our money is being wasted at and how we can better service you in the future and keep taxes low, maybe even a tax cut.
I'm gonna make a little pointed comment just because I can, because I'm feeling my blood pressure.
It's your
going,
video.
But I'm gonna be very careful. Okay.
Uh,
We put a flagpole up at an intersection, but yet we have a park in Jericho that does not have bathrooms, that they bring in porta potties when there's events there. There's clearly something wrong with this picture. Clearly something wrong. A flag is, in my mind, not nearly as important as providing safe, healthy, hygiene bathroom facilities for kids and adults alike who are playing in a park. That's about as far as I'm going to go on that, because I know I'll get in trouble if I go further.
Yeah, I think it really goes to transparency of things, and like what Martin's been saying about burning your hand and everything. Like for example, it's been almost 10 years since anybody's run against the incumbents, and I think that the citizens of Deptford have really just turned themselves off. And one thing I would like to do is like get more people involved, to come up the ranks behind us and also run for council.
Yeah.
I don't plan on being on council for 10 years or 20 years.
Yeah, there should
You
be
don't?
term limits.
Exactly. Like
There should be term limits.
And people argue against term limits, saying, well, you have a hard enough time filling a ballot now. Why would you want term limits? But I believe if they knew they were going to have a shot,
Right.
way more people would run,
Oh, yeah.
way more people would be involved with the community. And that is one thing I would like to see, if it's possible to put some kind of term limits in when we make it so you can vote for your mayor. I don't want to make a promise on that because I'm not sure it's possible, and I would love to hear the town's input on it. One thing I will say is I would never make a term limit like we have for president, where you cannot ever run again. Because I think it would be a shame to make it so a great council person or a great mayor could never be mayor again later in his political career, or after other people have gotten a chance to step up. I would say 2 consecutive terms. After that, give it a break. If you want to be mayor or council person again, then you come back in and serve the community some more. But having the same people in for too long, just causes issues.
I think the community will help us with that, because at the end of the day, look, we could be another flash in a pan and do nothing if elected, which I doubt very seriously, but I mean, that's what they're up against today. If we come in and help do a major overhaul with giving people that voice back that they don't have, then I'd like to see people get behind us and say, man, I want Rich back on council, because you know what? In the last couple of years, he has really helped move things forward. I want to see Robin out there, because she brings a different perspective to the table that we've ever had. Now, those are the kind of things that, again, make where we're living that much more special.
Also, I would like to see term limits. I talked about it to some of you out there. I'd like to quote Ben Franklin. Politicians should be changed as frequently as babies' diapers, and for the same reason, you know.
Oh, well, yeah, same reason.
Politicians get comfortable, and they get comfortable and complacent, and they're just not doing their job anymore. So you have to bring in new blood, new ideas every once in a while.
Yeah, I like the idea of flooding the system with new ideas.
How are we doing on comments? You guys leaving us comments?
No, actually, we're low on comments. If you got any questions, make sure to put them in. We'll get
questions
to them
in.
here for sure.
This is the last one before the election.
Yes.
We really want your questions. We really want to answer. I mean, I know we've gone over a lot, but you guys have to have questions.
Well, and that's the culture. That's been the culture of this campaign.
15 people are watching right now. So.
Yeah, well, we peaked. We peaked.
And some people watch after we're done too.
Actually, quite a few.
Yeah,
we
we usually get
and that's what's nice about this is that these things actually do get out in town.
Oh, and the other thing is we have a YouTube channel now. We just started.
Get on
You
there.
can search Deptford Republican Club. I guess we'll probably put a link up after this. You can go in and see our commercial that a volunteer was nice enough to make for us, and you can see our past live streams. I know they're pretty long, but if you feel like it, you can go back. I know we were laughing at some of the beginning ones,
Yeah.
and we had a pretty funny video from Oak Valley. We definitely looked very nervous on camera. We're trying
as
to
we
get people
are.
out there, Oak Valley. That was a pretty funny video.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the first ever live thing we did, my heart was pounding so hard.
Right.
I was
But-
very, very nervous.
But it's a great resource to have to go back and actually be able to look and see what every one of these people are saying because they're the ones that are trying to get involved in town and be on council. And I think the more informed, transparency, get people informed. The more informed you are about what's going on in town, the better off town is. Democrat or Republican, Rich was saying, he would love to see more people run for council, right?
Yeah.
If you're a Democrat in town and you think that you could do a good job at it, get in there, get involved. Let's see it.
Independence as well. Everybody.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Morgan ran in the Democratic primary. That was great.
I was happy to see it.
I was hoping she would take a seat, actually.
I'll say this again.
I was too.
2 years ago, 3 of us went to a Christmas party.
Oh
Rich-
man, the
Rich-
Christmas party.
Rich-
Sit back.
Rich-
There you go.
Wait a minute. Rich brought this idea to bear. He brought Deptford Republican Club back from basically the dead.
Definitely did that.
And it's safe.
It was
It's
buried.
it's safe to say, in a little over 2 years, there clearly is a groundswell. There clearly is an interest. There clearly is now thousands of people that do follow us and are paying attention to what we're doing. We're just regular, everyday people. We're citizens. We work. We have families. He has a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle. We ride motorcycles. I mean, Robin as
All
well.
right, come on.
We got to get Dave. We got to get him part of the team. But
I got a Jeep Wrangler. I go all
I ride on the
There you
back.
go.
Let me just be clear. I ride on the back.
at the end of the day, this is about, we saw a need. Somebody spoke to Rich early on, got him engaged, got him excited. He reached out, and we have been basically building and growing ever since.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
The growth is crazy.
And I can't I'm so proud of it. It's so great, and I like to say thank you, but I know it's it's not for me. It's not for you guys.
Mhm.
The Republicans in town are just so excited that this is happening.
Yeah.
They're supporting us for themselves and just for the party and for the image and for having Deptford back. I thank you for, putting us in the forefront of it.
Mhm.
But it's really great, and I just the amount of signs that I've seen everywhere,
awesome.
and just how many people are turning up. I've met so many of you over the past 3 years. Some people will come to 1 or 2 meetings. Some people I only see once. Some people I only see just in passing, and they oh, I like what you're doing. I really wish I could be involved. And it's so nice to see all of you come to get signs. I feel like everybody's really coming to us. We're getting new sign requests every day.
Still.
It's really just great seeing hundreds of signs go out, hundreds of sign requests. We have a couple that we put randomly out, but most of them are on people's properties. They really want to show their support for
I
us.
put more out today.
Organically on people's property.
Yeah, organically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going door to door, pushing signs on people.
Right.
Or asking people why do you have this sign in front of your house.
Right.
We're just sticking these signs out because people want them, and it really is great. It feels great, and I'm just really glad. Like I've said before, win or lose, we've already won because last election this wasn't happening.
Right.
Right.
Last election we had a write-in campaign for a nice lady that came up, and that was it.
And then I got to piggyback on something Derek said, because I think now is the time to do it. Again, we came from nothing. We have become, I would say, a force to be reckoned with at this point and moving forward. But I got to say, at the end of the day, every one of you out there on the other side of this camera that has been part of our volunteers, I'm telling you, you have been as much of our inspiration as hopefully we have been yours. Because at the end of the day, we've got some people that work very hard. We'd love to name them all, but there's far too many and not enough time to do so. But at the end of the day, clearly, we've struck a chord with people, and they have said, I want to jump on this bandwagon. I want to help these guys because what they're saying makes sense. What they're saying is going to give me a different perspective in Deptford and maybe a different life. Maybe I'll go talk to my next door neighbor that I've lived next to for 10 years and never met. I mean, these are the kind of things that...
Maybe I'll stay in Deptford. Maybe I'll stay in New
Yes,
Jersey.
we have a lot
Yeah.
of people, a lot of houses for sale.
Yeah,
A lot of
and-
houses for sale.
Yeah, and I've seen, you know, a lot of our ticket this year. It really is people like us that just were fed up with it and they got involved, and they're regular people. And I can't say enough good things about how lucky you guys are with the ticket we have. You know, Jack, Diane, and then you got Clyde. I think we have Clyde's paperwork right here.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
Clyde's
you
been
guys are
great
in
with
this.
us.
Clyde has been great. He used to be a Democrat. He got pushed out by the party because he was being too transparent on his council. He was calling out their Democratic mayor for a lot of the issues that he was seeing come up. He's personally showed us some videos of the
That
council
was
meetings.
that
and
was
it
wild.
is
It was
horrifying.
eye-opening. It was very eye-opening.
And he's given us a lot of advice on how to be truthful and how to be there for your constituents. And he switched to the Republican Party because he sees how real we are, and he sees that we're really trying to make a difference, not so much for social issues or national party politics, but more just to take our state back as just regular people. And that's the grassroots movement. And I'll tell you what, Sean Sepsi and Sam DiMatteo, they're on the same page. Our county freeholders are great. They're just your regular guys. They got a great plan to lower your taxes.
Aren't they called commissioners now?
Oh yeah, not freeholders.
Freeholder
County,
commissioners.
county commissioners,
Hey, Chris.
former freeholders. Yeah. Those
Clyde
guys,
was actually in the chat.
those guys are great, and they, was he?
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
Clyde.
And they, I lost my train of thought, but
Sorry.
basically, the county
My bad.
commissioner position, they're just in charge of funding for the county and how the county spends their money. And if that's a great job for a Republican. I know Nick Del Silvio has already lowered taxes in his town on his school board, and he could do it for the county. So I would just recommend, whether you're a Republican or not, please take a look at our ticket.
Yeah.
If you join the Deptford Republican Forum on Facebook, they all post on there. They're active in our community. They come to our events. Most of the door hangers have the candidates in them. You can take a look at everybody. I just ask you, please do that. I've just been telling people to vote party, not person, and I feel like our party has a lot of good people in
And
it.
if you
Yeah.
want
I
that
think it's a
information, definitely
good
reach out to us because we can get you the information. I mean, we could get all that out to you for all the uptick of candidates and everything. I know that we've said from the beginning, we're here for Deptford, right? But that is for Deptford. When we
Yeah.
talk about the county commissioners, whatever, the commissioners,
It's commissioners.
we need good people on there
Yeah.
so that we can liaison with them and work with them
Yes.
for Deptford.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people come up to me before I started this and said, you know what, Rich, I don't vote because I don't know anybody on the ticket. I don't know what these people are standing for. It's so hard to figure out what they're standing for. And I feel like if there's another thing the Deptford Republican Club can do for the community, it's bring these candidates into Deptford so you guys can meet them. Get them active on our social media pages so you can see what they're about, and you can make an informed decision come November. I'm not going to be sad if we lose. I'm just going to be glad that I feel we've done our best to make sure everybody had an informed decision. That's democracy, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, as it goes to the culture of the club that we built here, and kind of how you guys we would like to see governed is transparency. Educate people on the process. How many people didn't understand the primaries the last go?
Oh, a ton.
And that is our job as a political organization or club, and the people that are actually running it.
It's disappointing at best to have somebody say to Rich and me overhear it. I didn't know I couldn't vote. I'm a registered Democrat. I didn't know I couldn't vote for Republicans in the primaries. Well, understand how the system works.
Right.
Know what your candidates are. Go out and take the time to understand. I'm telling you, you're not going to find answers for who to vote for on TikTok. It's not going to happen.
He
Okay?
Yeah, I know Rama's on TikTok. She got some fire videos.
Hey, everybody's are actually awesome.
Yeah, they're
they're
awesome.
up there,
But
man.
at the end of the day, do your homework. Okay? Vote your conscience after you know who the players are, and vote what you believe they're going to deliver for you. Okay? We're the new kids on the block. I get it. I mean, we are. And I guess my argument to that is, do you want a few more years of the same? Or are you willing to roll the dice and take a risk on people that are truly committed to helping make life better for everybody in Deptford, not just Republicans, but everybody.
And there's something I want to say to that also to bounce off of Rich and Martin. I know that a lot of registered Dems in our town who are not truly Dem in their heart. Don't be afraid to go into that poll and vote the way you really want to.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to say, you can't vote Democratic. What I'm saying is that poll, that moment is a moment for you. It should be kept in secret. I know a lot of people have lost faith in our election process, but let's stay positive. Let's hope that that's not what's going to happen this time, and that when you go in there, no one's going to know what your vote is. It is your vote and your vote alone. I don't think there's any cameras in there watching. At least I hope not.
It's completely anonymous.
I say that as a joke. Only because we've been around various parts of town and we hear how the cameras are on us doing various things. So,
We've seen them roving around at some events.
at our meetings and stuff when we've been in the parks. But just keep that in mind. It's your vote. No matter how you're registered, this is the election. The general election is a time where if you are registered Democratic, you can still vote Republican. You can split your ticket if you want. Do we want you to vote down Republican? Absolutely, but this is your time to vote the way you want. It's not the primary.
Well, what you said about splitting your ticket. There's a couple of people that I've seen around town that have actually mentioned about splitting the ticket, voting one way locally and another way on the state and national
County,
level.
yeah.
And I don't want to pressure.
That's encouraging. I love that.
Yeah, it's great. I don't like pressuring people to vote one way. I just like showing them the facts. You vote the way you want to vote, and I feel like that's the best you can do. I mean, we all shish boom bond, cheer for our candidates, and try to get everybody to know. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Make the choice, and don't let anybody tell you how to vote or make you feel dumb or intimidate you to vote one way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely I've heard a lot of rumors in town that's been going around. People have been intimidating people into thinking or putting them down for who they want to vote for, and that's just
not us,
right.
by the way.
No.
Yeah.
I would never.
I couldn't imagine.
Hopefully
Honestly, I
not
couldn't
our
imagine doing
supporters.
that.
The-
Even our supporters, if you see Democrats that are coming out, on social media or telling you they're going to vote for the Democrat candidates, don't put them down for their choice.
Yeah.
That's their choice, and that's what makes America.
That's what makes America.
Always
America,
talk.
exactly.
Always talk.
At
Civil
the-
conversation is necessary, but demeaning somebody is definitely out of the line. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to it is your vote, your choice. Take the time to find out what your candidates stand for. Take the time to look into what their backgrounds are. Take the time to understand and look at your own personal level in town. If it like a seesaw. Do you want that balanced? Do you want it one side? Do you want the other side? Well, that's your choice as the voter. There's a lot of people running, a lot of people that said a lot of things, but at the end of the day, you have to try and be informed about what your decision is, make a decision, and stick with it. Go with it. Go with what's in your heart and what you believe will be the candidates that will make a difference for your life and the lives of your neighbors.
I love it, and I just want to perfect campaign slogan. Your vote, your choice. Now you have a choice in Deptford.
Jeez.
We're
We're still throwing around slogans.
Listen, as you guys know, I'm a political junkie, so I love this stuff.
Again, we've all said your voice, your choice.
Yep.
Okay, we've said that before. We'll say it again. And I guess the one thing I would add, again, collectively, the group, because I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, is hold us accountable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vote us in
absolutely.
and hold us accountable.
Yeah, vote.
And you make the comment when you're out in the audience at the town council meetings, we're sitting up there, then be brutal. Okay? If it's
Me
about
personally, don't
yes.
worry. I got you.
You got any questions in the comments?
No, we don't have any questions in the comments.
Bummer, guys.
But if I guess you can leave the comments later
Yep.
after we're
Oh,
done, and we will
Always.
get back and we'll
Or
answer them as
email us.
always.
Well, real quick, I just want to go. Let's do just quick outros. I don't know.
Quick what?
Outros.
Oh.
Like an intro with the other opposite.
The other way
Like
going.
goodbye.
Just real quick. Names, all that stuff. What you're running for. Martin.
Deptford citizens, don't be intimidated. Trust your gut. Do your homework. If you're voting in the four of us, hold us accountable. That is my commitment to you, and I expect to stand on that. You elect us, then hold us accountable.
Love it. Proud.
My point is vote for all four of us. Without voting for all four of us, change can't happen. So I'd like to see all four of us get on. We are a team. We do all think alike. We all have the same philosophies, goals, desires, and all four of us want to see better for Deptford. So please vote for all four of us when election day comes.
we have an opportunity for change here. I mean, you vote for us is voting for a new era in Deptford where there's community outreach, actual transparency. You yourself can get involved in the process that goes on by coming to the meetings, telling us how you feel, keeping us accountable. Please keep us accountable because we don't want to end up like
Present.
trying to make
He's trying to be nice.
I'm trying to be nice. If anybody knows me, I'm a little bit of a hothead.
No, you're being very sweet, Dave.
I'm Rich Nolan, as most of you know, hopefully, and I'm not going anywhere. Even if no matter how this election turns out, I'm not going anywhere. I think I can speak for the rest of the candidates. They're not going anywhere. We're going to be here to represent you, whether we're the party in power or not. We're going to continue putting our voice out there, your voice out there. We want to continue to read your concerns and comments, and I'm very excited. I can't tell you how proud I am of this group and all of you. I really am. I love this. We're really building a family and a community here, and no matter what happens this year, we're here to stay. Don't worry, you're not going to have an empty ticket next year. You're not going to have an empty ticket the election after that.
Right.
We're going to make sure that we continue to give you the best candidates we can find.
And one last thing. If you're not involved and you're watching this but you want to get involved, reach out to us.
Well, I'm gonna get into that.
Okay,
Absolutely,
sorry.
every
This
time.
was our outro. I was about to end.
That was I get an outro.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for coming out. I really thank the volunteers. Anybody that's got a sign on their lawn or has reached out and gave us encouraging words. I mean, it is exciting right now. I'm loving it, and I know these guys are getting excited. It's a little nerve-wracking coming up to the election, but it's great. Make sure you go to the website, DeptfordNJGOP.org. Over there you get all the information about these guys, our club. There's information about voting and local ordinance. All that stuff is available there. And
Volunteering.
at the end, volunteering. You go there, you can click the link. You can send me an email at any time. You can go through that website and you'll get there. And you can still get your sign. We got signs. You go to the top of the website, DeptfordNJGOP.org. Click that link, request a sign, and we'll get them out to you.
Still got a few left.
We'll be doing. I will deliver signs up into and on election day. I love it. It'll be great.
I love the signs.
I love the signs. The sign wars are real for me. Check out our Facebook forum page, guys. Like Rich said, well, they all said, we've been building this club, and it's been a great time doing it, and we need all the help we can get,
Just
all
the
the
beginning.
people, all the voices to come in and help and help build us up, so that again, Deptford actually has another opposing voice, so that you have a choice.
As Rich said, we're here to stay.
Here to stay.
All right. See you
All right,
later.
guys. Have a good night. Thank you.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.